Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am a Tamil Canadian girl, so please keep that in mind while you watch this video. I'm just gonna be giving my opinion on the TV show Never Have I Ever. I'm gonna try to get through it as fast as possible, but I will say you will understand this a lot better if you watch the show before you watch this, and obviously this is going to contain a lot of spoilers, so make sure you watch the show first before you watch this video. Before I even start, I just have a few disclaimers. So first of all, this is just my opinion. It's completely subjective. Obviously the show is just how I perceive it to be, and it's like based on like my experiences and things like that, so please don't be offended by anything that I say. It's just my opinion. So yeah, just don't take this video too seriously. I think that is all the disclaimers I had to say. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so starting off with the first episode, in my opinion, the first episode was just the absolute worst. I just thought it was really cringy, really cliche, and like luckily the show did get better after that, because if every episode was like that, I seriously couldn't have watched the whole thing. But what I didn't like the most was definitely like how it was just the cliche American high school trope. Okay, I went to high school in Canada, right? And like there is no popular guy, there is no hottest girl or anything. Like no, that doesn't exist. Like I don't know where this came from. Like if you're American and you're watching this and you're like, oh, that's actually kind of how it is, like sweetie, I am so sorry for you, but I'm sure it's not that exaggerated, even if it is true. So yeah, like that whole thing, I just like didn't understand it. And like also in my high school, no one really cared about sex. No one cared about who was a virgin or not. Like that wasn't a thing either. Like it wasn't really like a status changer or anything. But anyways, moving on. The narrator was just so irrelevant to me. So it was the tennis player John McEnroe, and I totally understand that like Davy's dad really liked him and he like came at the end of the show, but he still had nothing to do with like Davy's story of like her like growing up and like dealing with her grief, you know what I mean? And having like this older adult white man narrate this brown girl's story where she's mainly talking about a lot of things that are like related to sex and stuff, it just made me really uncomfortable. I was like, why are you narrating this story? It's just super weird. And honestly, I just felt like the show didn't need a narrator. Like there were so many scenes that I genuinely really liked until he started talking, and it just like pulled me out of what was happening, and I was like, this sucks. That sounds so mean, but like I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm just saying I think like the show would have been totally fine if it didn't have a narrator at all. Okay, so basically the main character, Davy, her dad passes away and then her legs stop working, which I understand it's like not a physical thing, like it's all in her head. But then she just sees her crush and then she just gets up. And I was like, is her being paralyzed serious or is it a joke? Because like it wasn't consistent. I couldn't tell what they were trying to do with that, but like it wasn't funny. So like I didn't know what they were trying to do with that storyline at all. And oh my goodness, okay, this is one of the things of the show that I just hated the most. So the actress who plays Davy, she was like 17, 18 years old while she was like doing her part, and the guy who plays Paxton, he is 29 years old. So I don't understand why they casted this guy who's almost 30 years old to be a high schooler. First of all, he looks like he is 30 years old. Like you could just tell he looked way older than everyone else. So like just seeing him in this whole high school setting and like seeing him kiss Davy at one point, like that was just so gross to me. But anyways, so like Davy gets up, she knows how to walk, and then like the next year of like school starts or whatever, and she's like, oh my god, like I want this year to be awesome, I want to like reinvent my image and everything. But what I don't like is that she like low-key calls her friends like losers, and she's just like, oh, we should like reinvent our image, and like, you know, we need to be cooler, and like you're not cool enough, blah blah. If one of my friends ever said that to me, I would drop them so quick. I don't know why her friends like took that. Okay, sorry if the setup changed a little bit. I'm not too sure what's going on with the lighting right now, but I'm just gonna deal with it. So finally coming to the end of the first episode, yes, I'm still talking about the first episode, but this is like the longest analysis that I have. She literally goes up to her crush Paxton, who she has never talked to before, and she literally asks him to have sex with her. And you know what was even crazier was that he said yes. Like first of all, you don't even know this girl. What if she has an STD? Like you literally don't know. I was like, that's just unrealistic, but okay. Anyways, moving on to the second episode. So she kind of lies to her friend friends about her interaction with Paxton by kind of making it sound that like he talked to her first and like he wanted to have sex with her or like hang out with her or whatever. And later on in the episode, they like assume that they had sex and she just doesn't correct them. So she's basically lying to them and is like, oh yeah, like we had sex, which isn't true, which just makes it really gross and disgusting. And I kind of wish they made it a bigger deal. Like, can you imagine if it was like a guy who lied about having sex with a girl? I feel like it would be a much bigger deal. Oh my god, so Davy and her mom, they get into a fight and Davy literally calls her mom a... First of all, if I ever called my mom that, which like I would never, but like if I ever did, she would just give me a look that would kill me instantly. Like I would be dead on the floor. So I don't understand how Davy managed to even walk away from that conversation. Like that to me was super unrealistic. Davy, oh my god, I can't say her name. Oh, anyway, so moving on to the third episode. Oh my god, the TikTok in this episode was really cute. Like the dance that they did, I thought that was really cute. In Davy's house, her really like beautiful cousin Kamala like lives with them, and she has like a secret boyfriend, but like she also wants to fit in with her family's expectations and they want to like arrange a marriage for her. And so I really like this storyline just because I feel like it is actually pretty relatable, and I feel like a lot of South Asian families go through this where a lot of the times the family wants one thing but then the individual person wants something else and they just don't really know how to go about it. So I felt like that was just a really good storyline. And in this episode, Davy goes to a party and like a coyote attacks her because like she thinks it's her dad and like she's trying to talk to it or whatever, and then she has to go to the hospital. First of all, you should have gotten rabies, and second of all, aren't hospital bills in the US like crazy expensive? Like when her mom came, she was obviously mad that like Davy was drunk, but she just didn't mention money at all. Like, was it like, isn't that expensive? Aren't you gonna say something about that? Anyways, moving on to the fourth episode. This was my favorite episode in the whole series. It was definitely the one that I related to the most. So this episode has a lot to do with like not feeling Indian enough. I 100% relate to that. Also, oh my god, the portrayal of aunties, okay, is so accurate. So aunties, they're not actually related to you, but they're just like these older women in the community, and like they just think that they can say whatever they want. They'll always give their opinions no matter how rude it is. They're always high-key flexing on like how rich they are or how successful they are or their kids or whatever. But yeah, I honestly loved seeing that. Like it was just so accurate. Oh, my camera cut off. So yeah, there's this part where Davy, she's like in Starbucks and like the cashier just like assumes that it's something to do with Ramadan or something, like her outfit and like the fact that she's fasting or something, or like she says that she's fasting. And I can relate to this so much. There are so many people who just like see the color of my skin and they just like assume what I am. It's like if you don't know, just like don't play a guessing game, you know? It's like you don't have to assume. Moving on to the fifth episode. Again, she does not correct anyone when they assume that she's having sex with Paxton. Like she literally just lets the rumors like fly by. Oh my god, also in this episode they mentioned BTS, so love that. So anyways, moving on to the end of the episode, it's really messed up because like her friend Fabiola, is that her name? Wait one second. Yeah, so her friend Fabiola comes out to their other friend Eleanor, but then at the end of the episode it sounds like they kind of want to tell like Davy together, and like Davy's like kind of ignoring them throughout the whole day, which like, you know what, okay, whatever, she's like going through her own stuff I guess. But then they meet up and but like they see each other at school at the end of the episode, and then she just like blows up at her friends and she's just like, oh, like whatever you have going on, like my stuff is bigger, and she like completely just like blows them off. And I hated this because like straight up, like at this point Davy's just like not a good friend. I personally just can't stand when people think their problems are more important than other people's, and like that's exactly what Davy did. Like she just assumed that what she had going on was bigger. Episode 6 mainly focused on Ben, so I'm just gonna skip that one. So episode 7, Davy kind of like confesses to everyone about her and Paxton and like how they're not really together, how they're not really sleeping together, and like her mom is there while she says this too, which is like super awkward. And basically like a lot happens this episode, but basically her friend Eleanor, her mom like abandons her again, right? Like she literally leaves her child and like goes and like leaves a note or whatever. And so obviously Eleanor is like devastated. So Fabiola is like messaging Davy and is like, Davy, like where are you? Like we need you, right? Because like they need like their best friends like support. And Davy, she just gets a text from Paxton being like, oh, like I need your help for something, and like without even really asking what he needs help with, she just goes to help. Which again, like these girls are supposed to be your best friends and like you're just treating them horribly, you're putting dating this boy who you don't even know that well, like in front of them, and I just didn't like that. So in the next episode, episode 8, Davy just finds out that Paxton's sister just needed like a model for something, which, like, grand scheme of things, like, your best friend's mom just left her a photo shoot. What's more important, right? Probably your best friend's mom leaving her. But anyway, she stays and she like completes the photo shoot, and then after she's like, oh my god, like I have to go. And so she sees Eleanor and Fabiola, and like while they're mad at her because like Davy completely blew them off when she just promised that she was gonna be a better friend, and she literally makes fun of Eleanor's outfit, which, like, this is not the time. Like, there's never a time to do that, but like especially now when she's like mad at you. But anyways, later that night, it's Ben's birthday, and Ben is like Davy's like enemy or whatever, but they're like kind of getting close at this point. So basically he has a party, and Davy like spills like punch or whatever all over Fabiola by accident, but Fabiola, this queen, like pops off, and she basically tells her that like she's been like treating her and Eleanor really badly, and like they're always getting sucked into her drama and everything, which is so true. Like, this is everything that I wanted to tell Davy, and I'm so glad that like Fabiola just like spilled everything right there. So moving on to the next episode, this is where like Kamala like meets the person who she's like supposed to get married to, right? But like she has a choice and everything. So first of all, his name's Prashant. Prashant is a snack. Like, he is real good looking. But anyways, Kamala in this episode, she breaks up with like her secret boyfriend Steve. She's just kind of like, oh, like, I don't want to marry anyone. But what I loved about this was that like she was just kind of making like her own choices. I do feel like that does break typical South Asian stereotypes, which I love. So at the end of this episode, Davy and her mom get into this huge fight, and it's really bad, and Davy says, I wish you were the one that died that night. And again, if I ever said anything like this to my parents, I would be dead instantly. And so finally, moving on to the very last episode of the season, episode 10, she runs away to Ben's house, which again, this is supposed to be like her enemy, and like I understand they've kind of bonded throughout the show and gotten closer, but like you still barely know him, he barely knows you. She's just like, oh, like you're rich, so like can I come live with you? And again, like the crazier part is that he says yes, and like that's just super unrealistic to me. That would never happen. My parents would never let me leave the house if I was trying to run away. Like, that's just not going to happen. Anyway, so her mom comes to visit her in Ben's house because she wants to finally spread her dad's ashes, and like her mom is like super like calm about it and stuff. And when Davy's like, oh, like I don't want to do it, and like I don't know, she says something really messed up. I don't even remember what she said, but yeah, her mom is just kind of chilling about it. But she does say like, oh, I just don't want to fight anymore, and like I completely understand that, but at the same time, like it's your kid, and like I just feel like a brown mom wouldn't let their kid get away with saying the stuff that Davy says. But yeah, anyways, at the end, like Davy's friends convince her to go and like spread her dad's ashes with her mom, and then she goes to the beach, and like that's where she meets like John McEnroe, and again, still not seeing the significance of him at all as a narrator. But yeah, like the last scene with them on the beach finally spreading his ashes and stuff, that was like a really good scene. I loved watching that. Like the acting was really well done, and I felt like the writing for that scene was also just really well done. So like overall, I just feel like my expectations for the show was a lot higher than what we got. Like there was a lot of things that I loved. I thought the acting was really well done, a lot of the jokes were really funny, there were a lot of scenes that I could relate to and they were accurate, but at the same time there was a lot of things in the show that just like either didn't make sense, they weren't consistent, or it was just highly exaggerated. I feel like this show just portrayed Davy to really be just like a person who was like constantly making like bad decisions over and over again, even though it clearly like wasn't working out for her. I just feel like the beginning of the show just had like a lot of bumpy starts and stuff, and then towards the end of the show, like it was getting a lot better. So yeah, with that being said, like if there's a season 2, I know I'm just gonna binge watch the whole thing in a day, just how I did the first season. I do really like the actors for the show, except I think they should still get someone younger to play Paxton. I think the show has a lot of potential to be better. Like you have these amazing characters and you have like these amazing writers. Like there was some moments in the show where I'm like, okay, if you can write like that well, I know the show can be like so much better than what it is right now. And like even right now, like I'm not saying the show is bad because it's not, but yeah, I don't know, I think they can do a lot more with it. With that being said, I understand that this one story is not like representative of like all South Asian stories, because there's obviously still a lot more that has to be said. Okay, I feel like I have been talking for so long, but I think that is the end of this video. Feel free to comment what your opinion is on the show. I'm still new to YouTube. Depending on when I post this, weeks. This might be my third or fourth video, I'm not really sure. But yeah, if you want to support me, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully I will see you guys next Saturday with another video. Bye!